Good morning, everybody. We already got a couple people in the audience. Thanks so much, guys, for coming along. So today's a little different one. I'm actually on the team for this one, just to give you guys full disclosure right away. Before we get too into it, I would ask you to maybe check out one of my live videos coming up on Friday. Reason being is it's if you were affected by QOP, where I guess there's some potential litigation stuff. Anyways, if you're able to come by, I have intelligence on chain on with me, and we're going to go through some stuff and some calls to action for that. So, but without further ado, we're here to talk about Nugget. So I've joined up mostly on the marketing side, but I'd like to mostly introduce and let these guys do the talking. And so we have Lazy Dog and Marcelo. Marcelo, you may recognize, he's been on the channel a couple of times over the last little bit, eh?
Yeah.
So we'll leave you till last for introductions, but Lazy Dog, if you maybe want to quickly start with just who you are, how you've kind of come up in the space, whatever you want to divulge, let us know, and we'll go from there.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, thank you. I guess I should start with 2.5 years in crypto. Like too many, I took a lot of losses over that time, and probably about 6 months ago, I started to figure it out and started to make some money. And all along, I've been watching too many people lose too much money. Degen plays, outright scams, Ponzi's, you name it. And I'd always had this thought in the back of my mind of doing a project that was targeted at helping people change their mindset to not look for that 100x, 200x, 1000x in 2 or 3 days. That the true path to having money is, well, it was said by Warren Buffett many, many years ago. Compound interest is the most powerful tool on earth. And so I wanted to devise a project that took advantage of that concept, yet gave people something short term. So I wanted to do that in the real world crypto mashup with real estate. I have a really long background in real estate. I have done just about everything you can do in residential real estate. I have built homes, I've flipped homes, I've invested in homes, I've rented homes, I still own homes. And so I've been through it in every way you can pretty much imagine. So watching what's happening with projects bringing real world assets to crypto was exciting, but I wasn't impressed with the ones that were coming and going. I forget the name of Sky something with the drone washers, and they couldn't make it because there was no real ownership. It was trust ownership.
Yeah,
And Skyfi, yes,
yeah, I think
thank
they're
you.
trying to make some comebacks, but yeah, I know exactly. Okay, cool.
I mean, they sounded like a great project, and I give them tons of credit that they refunded the money,
Yeah.
didn't just say, yeah, and we're walking away with it. But I just felt that fractional ownership was the only true way that you would have something of value. So I started putting Nugget Fund together in my mind from a real estate standpoint with putting together fractional ownership of the real estate investment projects that we were going to do. Along that trip, I ran into Marcelo and all of his side with what he'd been doing in hybrid and the investments. And I was really impressed with what he was doing and the kid's character. And we talked for, I don't know, quite a while. And we finally realized that his interests with Nuggets future and my interest with Nuggets future with tokenization was a good fit. And so we've partnered up, we've worked hard, and now we've got it to the place where it's at today.
Nice. So we'll get further into that a little later. Marcelo, maybe just a quick intro, just in case anybody doesn't know who you are yet. But yeah, if you can give us from there.
Yeah. Same thing here. I've been in crypto for about 2.5 years. Same story, so don't have to repeat it. But um, ended up getting into a team with the original hybrid team, um, and just worked with them. Learned a lot. Learned a lot of things of what not to do in future projects, and now have been running hybrid for about 7 months, and yeah, found started talking to Lazy Dog about a couple of things with tokenization and real estate investments. And yeah, we ended up getting together and getting Nugget Fund started. And this is where we are at now. But yeah.
Nice. Perfect. So we'll get into a little more nitty gritties on that. Warren Buffett was right about everything except for when you're dealing with ROI DApps. Don't compound them.
Yes. Do not compound.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So I guess whichever one wants to go first kind of thing, because there's kind of two arms to Nugget Fund, I guess, really. So if you guys want to maybe start with one side of it and then we can kind of drill down from there and then maybe flip to the other side kind of thing, I think might be best.
Sure, I might as well jump in again first. First off, I want to say there's not a diversion between two arms. It's two thoughts of returns where both of us are capable on both sides and totally running the project together as a partnership. It's not two channels, it's one project, but we do have two tokens and we do have two ways. So we have the Nugget token, which is really targeted at our long-term project growth and the price growth. We're looking at multi-year people staying around, putting money together, growing it, and building it into something significant for themselves in the future. I'm going to leave a lot of that to Marcelo because that's his stronger expertise than mine and his primary focus for the moment. But the real estate side is more I'm focused because another place where I have a little more expertise than Marcelo right now. So what we're doing is we are looking anywhere in the world for projects that have exceptional return opportunities. And instead of having to say, like these projects are doing that you can get in for just $500,000 or $1 million and you can get these fantastic returns. We're turning it around. We've started an LLC and investors who will purchase our saloon token can get into these real estate projects. And then when they finalize and pay out, they will get the appropriate reward back for their portion of the investment. I can't say too much about the two projects that were in examination and evaluation right now. One is probably about 98% available, ready to go. The other's a little further behind. We're in negotiation, and I hope to bring that to our table within about a week. It's going to be a phenomenal opportunity if we can get our hands on it. I will say right up front to set everybody's expectation, we're probably looking at trying to raise about $225,000 to $250,000 for that one. So we have some starting ambitions, but our long term is we want to purchase assets, hold them, build the equity, and eventually be able to liquidate those years from now when the project chooses to, and by project I mean the investors, uh, and then share that equity growth with the people like you would in the real world, but at a lot higher returns.
All right. So do we have any specifics on how that arm? I don't know it's not an arm, but I'm just trying to, I guess, put a word to it. But a little more specifics on how that's going to be working and what the method of that is and the functionality of it, I guess.
Sure. The right now the project is live. We went live basically this morning, and we have the two tokens. By the way, the project's based on an Old West theme, if you can't kind of tell from my picture there. And so we have divided it off into Old West stores. We have the blacksmith shop where you'll go and you'll forge or mint our Nugget token for the investments Marcel will talk about. Then we have the saloon where you can purchase our saloon token. Now, the saloon token is always $1. And the reason that we did that was the investments for real estate are going to be longer term, and we don't want that fluctuating impacting your investment. So when you purchase saloon right now in phase one, all of those are going to be pledged or escrowed to the first real estate project, and that info will be there on the website as soon as we have signed negotiation that we're done and ready to go. Then when we go to when we've raised the funds we need and we go to release them for the purchase, we will make a final confirmation with all the investors. That money will then go to our uh, LLC company, and those will then be utilized to finance the project. Now, the project I'm speaking about is a construction for sale project. One of them is we're building homes and we're going to resell them, and we hope to resell them at about a 50% profit in about 6 months. But the other one that I'm more excited about right now and hope to bring together very soon is a purchase of a business that's in a highly profitable industry. And unfortunately, I can't quite reveal which industry yet, but that is building an asset, refurbishing an asset, and preparing it for resale within about 6 to 8 months. And that is estimated that the resale with a committed buyer that we are negotiating with currently is going to return 300% on the investment. This is because that entity requires what these are, but do not have the asset to renovate them and bring them up to the state that they need. So it's a very unique opportunity that will probably never be repeated.
Okay, so basically on this side with the saloon token, the idea is obviously looking for larger raise if we can, and looking at IRL type businesses or building properties and selling them is kind of the overarching theme. If we don't raise enough, what is the plan to help create revenue while we try and build to the kind of the cash flow we need to do these larger purchases?
Well, the money that's going in escrow will be invested in a staking that is a solid staking with a very extremely low downside risk, because we want to, and we do guarantee that if you put your saloon in and escrow it for a project, that if we don't raise the cap, 100% of the money you invested will be returned to you upon the deadline date for the raise.
Okay. So either we no matter what, we're earning some funds, whether it's a little bit for now in some type of staking pools. But if we don't hit our goal, then obviously everybody gets 100% plus whatever revenue I guess we earn on that. So really, there's no risk to the investor in it, or the member, I guess, in a sense, other than just time without your money maybe not performing as well as you'd like. But there's lots of upside risk in the sense that if we do raise the amount necessary, the returns on these IRL larger investments can be quite massive, I guess, is what I'm seeing.
Correct. Yeah, honestly, the build and sell house situation we're looking at right now, 50% is the most pessimistic for it, which I like to work on because I like to always return better than expected. But it could go up as high as 60 or 70% if the market is turning around like they say it should for the beginning of this year.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Okay. Any other details on that, on the saloon token and what its value brings, or anything else we wanted to get into detail on there or dig deeper? And guys, if you guys have any questions, obviously, as always, please don't hesitate to put them in there. I know we're kind of just sort of overarching view right now, but anything that you want to drill down on, let us know.
Well, I'm going to let Marcelo address Nugget,
Perfect.
and then he can probably reflect how that services back to Saloon. I think that's probably best to address that one. So
Yeah, perfect. That makes
I'll
sense.
step back and let him go.
Awesome. Marcelo, you're up.
All right. Thank you. I'll try to follow that. This is really good. So yeah, we have the other token that we have is Nugget. And what this token encompasses is both the crypto side of our investments, as well as part of the investments in the real world businesses or the real estate development. So with Nugget, there is a maximum amount of tokens because this is not the same as SLN, as Saloon. So we have 1 million tokens that will be the maximum amount that will be mintable in the foreseeable future and probably forever. So what ends up being happening with that is that you get a possibility of token appreciation in the price, or at least in the value of the token. Um, every time you mint, there's a 2.5% fee to mint it, but that's put on top of the price so that 100% of what you put in minus that 2.5 is put into our investments. So with Nugget, you get pretty much around 70% of it is being invested in crypto, and 30% is pretty much allocated towards whatever project we are working towards on the SLN side. Um, so with that, you get to be part of everything. So it's kind of like a, you know, it's I guess a portfolio in a way. It's a portfolio of crypto and real world investments.
Can I
Um, yeah,
clarify something for 1 second? Just for people listening, the 30% that we're speaking of is so that the project itself can make returns and profits to grow the nugget price.
yes. So yeah, so you get part of both. But what happens with you holding Nugget, every week you get a return on your investment. You get a reward for holding Nugget. And most of this, at least in the beginning, would be coming from the crypto side of the investments, because with the real world investments, there's a time in between where we raise enough funds, we invest in whatever it is, if it's the real estate development or the project number two. But those we have to wait 6 to 8 months for those returns to come back and feed into Nugget. So in between that time, we will be using proven um, investments in crypto that um, I've been dealing with for a little while now. And what these do is they return. They have a good return, lower risk, and with that, you are able to get that weekly return. Um, and where this kind of goes back into with Saloon, the Saloon token, you will receive your returns in Saloon. They will still be backed one-to-one with USDC. So if you get your Saloon and you just want to get out of it, you just want your USDC back, you can do that way. You can do that through the cashier's box, which is you just swap the Saloon for USDC. Or once we launch, right now we're doing the pre-sale, but once we launch, you'll also have the choice to compound your Saloon, which then you would go to the blacksmith, and instead of using USDC, you would have a third choice there, and it would be Saloon. And if you do it that way, there is no fee to exchange the Saloon for Nugget.
Nice.
So
So some
it's,
incentive to compound, but
yeah,
still. And the nice thing is when you're compounding into Nugget, you're compounding into a asset that can never go down based on the tokenomics of it, like one of
yeah,
those labels. Okay.
it's backed by the treasury's value, and if we're paying out a profit, so if you've received Saloon, it means it's working, um, and then it's up to you if you want to compound or not. That's how you personally compound. um, uh, not financial advice, but it's a great way to compound because there's no fees, and if you believe in the project, then there you go. The other side of that is, we have compounding already built into the whole system. Um, when you receive your Saloon, 20% of the profits have already been compounded back into the treasury. Um, so what that does, it increases the treasury value. It opens us up to more investments, or at least increase what we have into the investments that we've already set up, if they're working or not. And so that's kind of built in. We have automatically compounded within the treasury itself. Then it's up to you to do that with your. You can do whatever you want to do with your saloon. But with that, let me think. So that's Nugget overall. During the pre-sale with Nugget, so with Nugget, you can get a bonus through the pre-sale. You'll get a 10% bonus on top of the Nugget that you buy, that you purchase. This will have a 6-month cliff, and after that, every month you'll receive 20% of whatever you have allocated to you. As long as Nugget is above $15, which we believe we will reach that within the next 6 months, you will receive that 20%. If it's not above $15, you'll most likely receive a prorated amount.
Sorry, is that
Based
20% of the bonus that you got?
Yes, of the
Okay.
bonus.
So your actual
So
initial is all yours to do with what you want, but
exactly.
but the bonus
Yeah,
stuff
your
will be
initial
kind of,
is yours.
yeah.
It'll
So the
just be in
bonus
your
is
wallet.
vetted kind of thing, just to help spread out the risk to us of giving those extra tokens away, I guess.
Yeah, it's in a way controlling inflation.
Yeah.
And you know, and yeah, it's mostly controlling inflation and providing um, kind of an incentive to participate in the pre-sale.
Yep.
You get that extra bonus in a way for free.
Nice. Perfect.
Well, one of the things that's a very foundational tenet for Nugget Fund is that we will do everything we possibly can in design and function and long term that Nugget token is not inflationary. We have seen too many projects crash and burn for price action from people outside just speculating. And this is not our goal. Our goal is to truly build something stable long term, and keeping it non-inflationary is probably the strongest way to do that. Uh, the and like Marcelo said, with the rewards from the initial, it is just to kickstart the level of investment we have for the crypto side. Pretty much, we really hope that people will take a look at the real estate and be excited by it and help us get it funded. But the core will day to day will always be the crypto side, and we really are dedicated to building that. And that will feed real estate with its profits, like Marcelo said, that we were looking at 30% of what we earn in the treasury being committed to there.
Yep.
The the most I think the most important thing to realize is that these two are always going to work together. They're not in division. They're not separated. It's just one has a much longer return cycle and therefore had to be handled a little differently. But the other comment I want to make is even though we are launching the pre-sale today, we do have funds already invested. They are already invested by us and they are already returning money to us. So our first reward cycle will be extremely soon.
Nice. Awesome. So it just kind of encompassing it all, and then I do like how it's been set up, and I like the idea behind it because it's kind of taking a few different pros from a few different projects, and I'm trying not to name other projects when I'm talking about projects, but I just think it helps with illustrations. So we've kind of got a WarFi type setups and hybrid bond type setup, which is obviously where you learned what you've been doing, Marcelo, and what's worked. And you've taken a project that honestly had a lot of opportunities to kind of get out of it, I guess, because it was maybe not doing as perfect, but you've turned it into something that's making some pretty darn nice returns. So we've got that side, which gives you the stability, some consistent returns, and opportunities for funds to move around actively a week to week, which is what everybody wants to see. And then you've got the other side, sort of, where you've created something that now will give some really nice long-term potential at some really amazing gains. So it's kind of got a nice balance to it, whereas a lot of projects seem to only go one direction, and unfortunately either maybe never make it to any direction really. So I do like how it's kind of brought it all together. And Scott's just asking, so the seed sale goes active today. It's actually already is active, right? Like you can literally go right now to the DApp and buy. Is it just Nugget right now, or is it both?
Oh,
It's
you can buy
both.
both.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is on Arbitrum, just in case.
Oh, good call. Yes, sorry, you should mention
Yes.
that. So on Arbitrum, you can come to either of these if you want. So basically, this one here will be. And sorry, one thing I guess I didn't clarify, and maybe we can make clear, is if you got into this one right now, you're still part of the earning process right away, right? Like there's still funds that you're going to be gaining right away until we get a chance to get to the others. So really, both of these are doing the same thing in the short term, right?
Yeah, well, kind of. I think if you want to get into the crypto side and start earning a weekly return, uh, you would probably want to jump into the Nugget side,
Yeah.
and that's where you're going to get the bonuses. If
True.
you are risk averse and you just want to deal with the real world assets, then that's where you go into the SLN, mint that, and then wait for to see what happens. Hopefully during the pre-sale, we reach that cap, but if not, we probably have a little bit. So the pre-sale is only for Nugget, really. If you think about it, that's where you're going to get the bonuses now.
Yeah.
With the SLN, you can get into the investment. You can kind of lock up your USDC in there, but that will have to wait until we hit the cap, or we hit a certain date where we say, well, this is not going to work out. Here are your funds back. Do you want to go into Nugget instead, or do you want to hold on to SLN, or just get out with your USDC?
Well,
It's
I think to mention in the inverse of that, if you're purchasing into Nugget today, full disclosure, we do not have the OTC yet. That's a phase 2 piece. So, excuse me. So if you're purchasing into Nugget today, you are going to be holding it for a while till we can get the OTC up, because we currently don't have an exit path, but we're not talking about 6 months here. We're talking about pretty rapidly after the raise, where, and there's also no path to take Nugget that you own and swap it to Saloon. That direction by design doesn't exist. So if you're putting into Nugget, the 30% that the team is determining currently is going to the real estate as a project investment into the real estate arm to basically leverage our positions, is the only way you would be participating. So you're looking at two ways. You're going to be putting your money in escrow for, at this point, what's probably 60 to 65 days. If it goes well, if it's gets delayed in negotiations, we will be updating on that. But the time frame, it's like we had said, Marcel had said too, it's going to be sitting there, not earning money on the Saloon side.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was trying to think there. So we'll head to you. So right now, your best, and again, not financial advice or whatever. You're getting a little bit of a bonus here right now, and the funds are working right away. Some of the funds are but you're still benefiting from Saloon in the sense that you're providing liquidity to it down the road by 30% of it going over to this side. So if we can get a really big raise, obviously this is probably the better attack for your initial funds, I guess. And then as we see this grow, maybe people want to get directly into this as they're seeing it come to fruition, and that we're reaching the caps that we kind of need to get to with the raising that we're doing. Is that all fair to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. So there's a little bit of ideas for everybody. If anybody has any other questions, like I said, please put them in there. Thanks, Scott. I see you found the website and stuff. So basically from here, you guys can just click on the DApp, which is what comes up, and it goes to a separate screen, so it doesn't link to here, but there we go. And then you can go into either. Obviously, usual disclaimers and all that jazz. And as you mentioned, on Arbitrum, so you'll connect your wallet to Arbitrum that way using any of those methods.
I guess the only thing I'd like to throw out, Pocket, is our Discord, of course, is also live. You can see the link at the bottom. Please come, please join. But you will go to our link section. You can see our white paper that explains all this in complete detail, including how the bonuses work and so forth on Nugget, what is envisioned with Saloon and the projects and so forth. So there's a lot more detail, obviously, than we can provide there today.
Exactly. And as things come up and as there's actual investment opportunities that we have ironed out that we can actually talk about, they'll all get announced there first. Obviously, I'll be doing updated videos as time goes on, and we'll roll out AMAs with other people and all kind of stuff. The plan is to do it as bare bones as we can to keep as much of the money in the project as we can. So I'm hoping to use some favors to help get our word out there a little bit to some of the people I know. And I do appreciate anybody that helps us out with that. Because as you can see, the margins to start up with this kind of thing are not the biggest, which is a good thing. And so we're looking to try and move that as quick as we can. And to do that, we need the funds to kind of do so.
No magic money.
No magic money, exactly. And unfortunately, it's not. I mean, I'd love to see this space as a whole take a more business aspect where there's a lot of money brought in from the founders, but unfortunately, we're all struggling trying to make money in this space, like all of you. So it'll take time to get there.
Well, we're not wealthy, but I know, and Marcelo to some degree, I'll let him address it, but I believe in the project enough that I am purchasing Nugget as a normal consumer, I guess you could say, not just on the inside. So
yeah, and we're not being given tokens or anything like that if we want in, which again, same thing. I will be doing the same thing and DCAing some in here, I think, over the next little bit as I have cash flow to do so. And yeah, so it's not there's just the fees on the certain side that we get, and other than that, that's it. Trying to think if there's anything else to get into. I do want to kind of dig a little deeper, and I'll do some other videos on my own kind of thing of things to kind of bring it all together. The AMAs are always great, usually for questions, and we might have to do a few more of them down the road to start really getting people engaged a little bit in the question side of things. But all in all, the process is fairly simple, and it's not like it's something that Marcelo obviously has experience with on the DeFi side. And as Lazy Dog mentioned already, he's got a lot of experience on the other side to find us opportunities when the cash flow gets big enough for us to start digging into some of these. Say digging in, it's like Nugget or mining.
Yeah,
pun intended. Getting into that stuff. So
nuggets.
Yeah, exactly. Any other questions from the audience, and anything else you guys want to get into today while we have the chance?
Do we want to go through the rewards this time? Like, I guess that's pretty nitty gritty. I don't know if
yes, Scott, you will use.
Yeah. So
but of course on ARB it's very small.
Yeah, and ARBs, yeah, exactly. It's so cheap, like you're talking 10, 20 cents kind of thing, I presume. But yeah.
Oh, and just so you know, Scott, our dev is pretty doggone good. So your transactions probably can go through before you barely click the button. So
yeah, it's quick. I like how fast our DApp is.
Yep.
Sometimes it feels like
very good devs known in the space and all that jazz, which is good. So he's Stella superstar. Always good to have those. And didn't charge us an arm and leg like most people get charged. Sorry, Lazy Dog, I think there's something else you were going to get into there.
I think I'm good unless there's a question on it. I think most of the details deeper than that are best answered in the white paper.
Yeah, and of course, always come on in, ask some questions. We'll be in the Discord to go through any of those open tickets if you don't feel comfortable asking publicly. But always great when you can ask publicly, because that gives us the opportunity for everybody to hear the answer to, in case they have the question and are too shy to ask.
I guess the last thing I will add to that is what you said is please open a ticket if you do want a more private conversation, because we will not be accepting direct messages from people for security reasons in Discord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the usual Discord stuff. Don't be accepting DMs from any of us because we're not DMing you.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely
no.
not. Not without permission from you.
Exactly. Live permission on the actual Discord. So yeah.
Correct.
Awesome. So if that's everything, we'll keep it. I like keeping them nice and short when we can because oftentimes these guys, the AMAs, can run a little long. So I appreciate you guys keeping it tight. If there is anything else, like I said, call to action is obviously please do come on into the Discord first off and help us grow an amazing community. And we've got some people that have come over already from hybrid and all that kind of stuff. So it's already starting to get a little bit more active in there, which is amazing. And we have more things to come. There's even some ideas we were talking about yesterday. So we're really have a lot of drive to make sure something sticks here. And I think enough opportunities available to us with the way the market is moving right now, that no matter what, it's going to succeed. It's just how much we can succeed will depend on the funds we can raise, and whether we can get into those deeper pockets in order to get into those real estate type things that need that higher capital to go into. So with that note, we'll leave you with that. And any closing remarks, guys?
Yeah, not really. Just come on by. Like we said, we'll answer whatever questions you have. Have a look at the white paper, and yeah, come over to our Discord, have a conversation, and hopefully we can get you into the community and get you excited about Nugget.
Awesome. Thanks so
Well,
much, guys. Sorry, go ahead, Lazy.
I just want to say thanks for all the people listening, taking their time to have gotten this far, and we appreciate that as much as we do the investments in a way. But I can't second enough that we're a project that's going to be here because we've raised enough already for survival, and we're staying. We just trying to accelerate the growth and improve the returns for people.
Nice. Awesome.
Definitely.
All right. Have yourselves a great rest of your day, and we'll see